Well, I'll tell you, when it comes to strategy, I'll touch on something that you mentioned in what you were just talking about, and that is your level of engagement with your fans. And something that was described to me, and I could be a better practice at this, but it made a lot of sense to me, is something when it comes to marketing yourself on social media. And I'm not a spitting image of success, obviously, but this is the way it was described to me. It's called the 70-20-10 theory. Anybody ever heard of that before? The 70-20-10 theory.
Pareto principle, yeah.
So basically, the way that it works is if you have something to sell, and you want to both effectively reach your audience and also game the algorithm, so to speak, okay, then following the 70-20-10 theory is a very positive way of doing it. And the way that it works is you have something to sell. You spend 70% of your time just engaging in what everybody else is doing, just liking people's posts, commenting on something funny, being a friend to your friends, and acknowledging all of their content that they're putting out there. Engage with their stuff, right? Like you mentioned, you get a direct message, respond to that damn message, right? Be a good friend, right? 70%, then 20% is you actively selling stuff for other people. Share other people's stuff. Your homie's got a stream coming up. Share your homie's stream. This is something that you can stand behind, a cause that you can stand behind. Share that shit on your channel, and make that 20% of your content. And then finally, the 10% is what the fuck you're selling. And that way it doesn't come across as, oh, here comes Z again throwing out his damn fucking club flyer. Like, I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's a positive way of kind of gaming the system and still building these relationships, and it creates a digital connection too. When you like somebody's thing, or if they like your thing, Facebook is drawing that line. They're going to connect you so that you show up on their timeline when they're looking through their feed and stuff like that. So that's how that all works. Anybody want to touch on that at all?
Billy, I would say listening to you kind of break that down almost scientifically, and what Z-Trip was talking about, spending that time connecting with people. Reputation's everything, and you can't fake this behavior. You can't. You can you can send a mess email out, but it ain't going to be the same as that one-on-one connection when someone's actually decided to reach out and tell you about their life or their experience as a veteran. You can't fake that, and reputation counts for a lot. And while I would say you could try and fake trying to be genuine and interested, eventually you get caught out. But reputation counts for a lot. So that one good turn, call it karma or something, it'll come back, especially when you're not looking for it. You know what I mean? So I would say I like what Z-Trip, you were saying about keeping it tidy with 1,000 people instead of the 100,000. It pays dividends in one way or another, like spiritually, monetarily, on every level. So, and Twitch is a good place for that too. The mechanisms here do almost force a supportive behavior by way of the raids and stuff like that. So that's good as well.
So I was going to say, all of us, every person on this Zoom call spends a ton of time in Twitch, just in everybody else's channels, finding new channels, supporting channels. I can't tell you how awesome that is, but it's just awesome to see when you hop in a channel and you're just kind of roaming around, and at least 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 of us that you see all the time are in there too. And that's just, I just think the support here is amazing for that. Back to what you said, Z, about, building, kind of being with everybody, messaging all the followers, and just trying to stay along and build the community, right? That is a really good thing here, that it's just kind of strong in its own. And as long as you're just kind of in along for the ride, and as long as you show the support and love, I mean, you're just going to get it back times 10. It's amazing.
One thing I wanted to comment on in relation to that, there is kind of a very positive, super positive and supportive atmosphere in the DJ world on Twitch right now. But again, 4 million compared to 60 million, right? In that 60 million category, they're not saying that about Twitch. They're talking about how Twitch's chat room is completely toxic, and that there's divisive things going on, and all the things that people are complaining about on Facebook are happening in the Twitch chat as well on a larger scale. And bringing it back into the world of the DJ, right now we are very much showing a lot of camaraderie. And I don't want to be doom and gloom and be an asshole about this, but I'm not afraid to call out the elephant in the room. There's some dumb motherfuckers who are DJs, and they're all about wanting to fucking big up their ego, and it's whatever their motivation is, and they'll sidestep any kind of camaraderie in order to try to get there. These are the motherfuckers that have 100,000 followers on Instagram, but nobody comments on their posts because they paid for that shit. Those guys are coming to Twitch, especially as we. This format continues to grow. This platform continues to grow. And so my point here is that the camaraderie and the sunshine and the happy DJ thing going on right now, it's fucking beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. But just like every other category, they went through this. Even in the Minecraft days 6 years ago, they were like, oh my God, 6 years ago, it was so beautiful. Everybody was so supportive, blah, blah, blah. And now it's not like that. This DJs, we're those same motherfuckers, dude. We're going to be that. It's not like that, people, like if this thing keeps saturating. And right now we have a magic stat, and it's called viewer to creator ratio, okay? Right now, there are way more viewers than creators in the DJ music category. There are way more viewers than creators, okay? Now you go over to Minecraft, there's way more creators than viewers. There's like 100 streamers for every one person trying to watch somebody play Minecraft, okay? The oversaturation is tilted in the other direction. So right now, while we have that magic number, while we have something like 40 people just watching compared to one person who's streaming, while we have that magic ratio, things are going to be amazing. But as the oversaturation continues, that's going to start going away, you guys. So hang on to these friendships that we're building now, and pay attention to maybe like there might be some shifty motherfucker with hidden agendas, because that is a real human trait, and we can't just throw a blindfold on and say Twitch is the magic utopia we've always been looking for. It's not.
It's like you said, man. I'm running hard, man. Just running hard. The window's closing. That's what you said. You've said that since, I don't even know, man. Since you started on the platform, we've like, the window's closing. You got to get on. You got to start. I'm like, 100%, man. Go hard in the paint as hard as you can right now, right?
Word up.
Man, because now's the time.
Go ahead.
I'm curious. Do you guys really think that? I mean, obviously, we're still. I mean, a lot of places are rolling back their pandemic things. Like a lot of people are going back into lockdown. I know France is back into lockdown, and I'm assuming a lot of places in the States are going to go back into lockdown soon. Once we're past all of this, once we kind of have some sense of normalcy and clubs are back open and entertainment venues can do their thing, do you think that ratio that Billy's talking about is going to get better? Because there's a lot of DJs that are on Twitch right now that you can tell that they're only here out of necessity. They're not here because they like playing music or that they're building a new thing. They're here out of necessity. Do you think that once...
An attempted cash grab.
Yeah.
Exactly.
By the way, the dumb motherfuckers comment was none of y'all. Well, maybe one of you, but I won't say it now.
Okay.
Damn it! Why you gotta call me out like that?
Yeah, I'm like, I'll take the picture off, Billy. It's fine. Like, Jesus.
Aiden,
So fucking rude. It's his birthday yesterday, and he can just be insulting to me. It's fine. Jesus, this guy.
Aiden.
To say, you guys, like, now, how much of the golden ratio of like as far as creators versus viewers? That's a great question. I mean, I thought I got late on the game, and I got in 3 years ago. And, then all of a sudden Mojax came in and said, hey, this is the place to be. And it was like a typhoon of just people flooding in. Right. So I always feel like we're almost at that level as far as, watching the tipping scale go the other direction. But what's been amazing to me is still that it's such a community driven affair. I mean, the raid train thing, when that started happening, I was like, yeah, look at that. Everyone gets to keep their own channel. And, people just
raids are beautiful. That is such an amazing thing, dude. Yeah.
And I mean, fortunately, I got raised by, or had someone giving me guidance as far as how to be, a good citizen on Twitch when I first joined. And, like, shouts out to Escape Velocity and Catch 22, for helping me get where I am.
They gave you like the do's and don'ts of what to do.
Well, not only, but both by like watching what they were doing, but then also turning around and being like, dude, your stream is whack. Hold on. We need to change your bit rate. You're on a Mac. Okay, hold on. We can do this and that. You really need to get a PC. Well, I'm still on a Mac, but we'll get there.
For streaming, yeah, absolutely. I can't believe a PC became part of my configuration. Having worked at Apple, drinking the apple juice.
I tell you what, on the real, like, if you want to talk about the big comeback, the PC and the DJ community was the big comeback of fucking 2020.
Yep.
If you want to really talk the shit, like, I thought I was done with those years ago, and then all of a sudden I'm like, yo, I need a fucking PC to stream with. I was like, we're back again? You were like, what? Oh yeah.
What's Windows 10? Shit, I haven't used this shit forever.
Learning OBS, learning
for real.
The whole thing, like learning bit rate, stream rates, learning fucking all of that, and understanding this whole concept is also a lot of work. There's two things I want to mention really quick, and it's there's DJs who want to be here because they need the connection and community, and they'll die without it. This is the oxygen. Community is oxygen.
Preach.
And there's other people. There's other people who are here because it's the right metrics, or it's the right look, or it's like I got to keep this iron in the fire to keep my thing up, but they're not really here for anything other than that. So but I do feel like people differentiate between the two, and there's that.
I think the Twitch audience can spot that shit a mile away.
Hell yeah.
Yep. I do. I agree. But I do think it's interesting too, like that this created like a Grand Canyon, kind of like when we all went from vinyl to digital. There was a Grand Canyon. If you didn't jump over the Grand Canyon and make it to the other side, you were left behind. And so it's sort of like every so often when everyone gets real comfortable with the way things are going, all of a sudden the universe provides this big shake, and here we are. Everyone's sort of figuring out how to sort of navigate and get around it. And it's like, if you rise to the occasion, you put in the work, you'll come out on top, or at least a little bit better off than you were, and you'll be able to ride out through this. But all the people who are thinking that, when the lights come back on and we're all ready to go back to work, like everything's going to be the same. We're all going to get the same rate. We're going to same date. And like everything's the same. We just took a pause, right, guys? Just took a pause, right?
Yeah.
Bullshit. Everything is fucking changed, and the whole thing has changed. And
social fabric has changed. People are going to be weirder about being close to each other. Like it's all
and streaming. This vehicle is now part of the norm.
Yep.
So you were bummed that the promoter was like, oh, and you got to promote it on your social media. You were like, oh fuck.
Yo, my dad hits me on FaceTime.
You got to do a stream about it, and
Live
you got to
stream
this is all a new. It's another part of the puzzle that, like, not only did you have to learn your records and learn how to scratch and learn how to fucking social media, and now you got to learn how to stream. Right. Oh fuck! What? Oh yeah, okay. That means you got to learn all the back end of
graphic designer, content creator,
video editor.
You know how to make an emote. You know how to make an emote?
Exactly.
You know how to make an emote? Yeah. Okay. Cool. You're gonna need to know how to make an emote.
Yeah. Exactly.
What's an emote? What the fuck is that?
So we've always been doing this. Whether or not we were part of the, like, building the street team or whatnot, we all had put on all the hats.
Yeah, we made flyers and
all the hats.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're like, you're going to be a part of our team. Come.
Yeah. So I feel like all those, but it's nice because all the lightweight motherfuckers who were in positions of power because their cousin was the guy, or they undercut the dude over here. Like, I just feel like there's a level of the rinse out where you had to be through the lean years, which is right now, and still fucking trying to punch up through it in order, when it does come back, to be able to have some ground. Because if you didn't make it through the transition, what'd you come out with? Right. Did you cultivate new people? Did you gain anything out of this? If you're just coming out as a lateral, it's a low. I mean,
if you didn't learn shit coming out of this, I mean, that's terrible. That's terrible.
Yeah, and you're not getting your full fee. Nobody is. So just know that. And like, if that's also part of, like, okay, I get it, I'll still fight through this, then you're gonna be okay. But if you're expecting what it was and you're disenfranchised with the whole fucking bubble and climate of what's going on, you've already lost. And that's cool. Less just shake them off. Like, let's continue to move forward, and the real ones will stay, and we'll just build. I feel like, one step forward, 3 steps back, but those 3 steps back in a weird way were a necessity in order to purge a lot of the nonsense we were getting into some really fucking strange territory, dudes. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
man.
know about you guys, but like, you know, the fucking standing on the turntables and fucking cheerleading shit. Like, you know, I get if you're hype. I get it. I get if you're hype.
I was calling that it was the glam rock era of DJing.
Yo, we all went through disco. We went through disco like a motherfucker.
Right.
That was the cocaine years of disco. We went through that, and now I feel like we're back in the punk rock. Like, that shit will not fly. It's just, you know, no one's got crazy money to go pop a bottle and stand on a couch and fucking shoot champagne everywhere.
Even a song about that doesn't even sound right now. You know what I mean? Like,
it's just not, man. It's just and to be honest, like, I always feel like culturally we're always a quarter or two behind. You know, financially, the repercussions of where we are always trail. So I do feel like when we get back to it, I said this, and I will say this even now to you guys, and I stand firm with this, but I was even talking with a buddy the other day. These cats helped. I just had my computers redone, and these guys down in San Diego, laptop DJ repair dudes. Shout out to those guys; they fucking helped me out. So, but I was having a conversation with them as we were working on the computers, and we were like talking about. And one of the guys is also a DJ as well, and we were just talking about DJing and stuff. And there was a moment where we were talking about what does the return look like getting back in and integrating. And I feel that there's a big part of, you know, I think we're going to get back to the warehouse party. We're going to get back to the, like, $5 gets me in. It's all you can drink. I can fuck with that.
Yep.
And like, you come in and it's not dirty and dingy. It's like the warehouse is cleaned up. It's got a nice coat of paint on it.
There's some art on the walls.
System's bumping.
Yeah.
Some art. It's a little more high scale. It's a little more Lower East Side New York
Art
than
gallery.
it's like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And but it's like, it's red cup. It's the wristband. It's like, yo, we got some, you know, we don't have Bud Light on the fucking keg. We got some dope craft brew. It's really dope. But like,
Right.
you know, so like everything's leveled up a little bit, but it's lowbrow enough where you don't have to feel like I'm paying out the fucking nose to be in part of this community. And that's kind of where all this shit started anyway. So it's a little more like community. And I do feel like that is going to be the new norm moving forward. Less lights, lower ceiling, darker vibe, $5, dope. Oh, cool.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean? I just feel like that's
Dude,
where
so-
it's going.
To speak about what you were saying earlier about how the venues aren't going to have the money to pay us anymore, I think it'll be easier to make money like that, throwing your own parties in underground spots where it's $5 a head, than it will to get some bar to fucking pay you the money that they were going to pay you, because they all went through 2 years of nothing by the time we get back. You know.
Yo, I'm only ever trying to play from here on out any club or bar. I mean, I get a little bit of a fucking pass because I'm me and I've cultivated my thing. But
props.
If I were even just a DJ just coming into it, I forever here on out am trying to play clubs where I never have to worry about somebody tapping me on the shoulder and going, hey man, you need to play fucking Britney Spears for table 17.
I'm fucking scared to death of going back to that.
Fuck out of
That's the
here.
worst.
How about
have
fuck you? How about fuck you? And how about no, never again will I ever have to be in a circumstance where I feel like I'm beholden to some guy.
Right.
Bottom line, you know what I mean? That shit's over with. And it can be. You'll take a step back, but you again, 3 steps back. You know, 1 step forward, 3 steps back. But the move forward after this, you had to hit reset. This had to happen, man.
So I wanted to ask Z this, and you know, to all you guys here, and I don't know if you guys touch on this with the initial like one-on-one.
Let's hear it.
Now that the streaming climate is, you know, here, and this is where a lot of people are consuming the DJ or their music. Dude, I can't tell you the last time I actually turned on a radio. Like I haven't really fucking left this is my garage. This is the only place I go. I'll get drunk, I'll get high, and then I'll go to bed. Like that, like this is it, right? So there's other people that are consuming their media and all that stuff
Club
here
fade.
on Twitch, right? So do you feel that this experience, people coming and streaming or consuming on Twitch, do you feel that this will now change for lack of a better term, the open format DJ to be able to, you know, that when people are allowed to go back out and whatever that new normal is, that, you know, I'm not going to have to play fucking Cardi B, like, you know, if I don't want to, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not playing shit I don't love. Like there's a bunch of shit that I'm playing that I love or that I discover or whatever, and that the people that are here in the other side of this are fucking rocking with me with whatever the fuck it is.
Right.
If it's yacht
I think
rock,
so.
if it's
I think
metal
so.
or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So like that. How do you think? Do you think that that's going to change?
I think so. I think, not to speak for everybody, but I think so. And I think it's a situation where we are, you might like, you're going to, some of it's going to not be there. We're right out of the gate, we're losing a nice chunk of buffer that was there, but like the crowds will be smaller, but they're going to be way more attentive to what you're doing and way more interested and intrigued. And I also feel like as much as, Bob, the fucking bottle service manager guy was like, hey, play this for those guys.
Right.
He's also on the other end of seeing all this as well. And he's realizing like the climate has changed. It's just not going to be like that. Like that,
Right.
The environment is a little more, we might have lost money. We might have lost some position, but what we've lost, we've gained in maybe more followers or people who are committed to, maybe not just in your backyard, but globally, you've gained more people. And I think culturally, we've leveled up a little bit, where I don't think people, like, you can't go back and do, it'd be like if somebody came up to you and was like, hey man, play some hyphy music. You know hyphy music, you like hyphy, right? Hyphy. You'd be like, yo, that's fucking so many years ago. I might entertain the idea, but like, you're a snapshot of a time period.
Right.
Anybody who comes up to us asking to do that shit, or I think
every Sacramento bar, by the way. Go ahead.
yeah, but well, I mean, maybe that's not the best example.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're. Yeah, I don't know.
But you know what I mean. But like, there's a level of like, if you're expecting it to be like it was, I don't even think the patrons are gonna be like that. I think everybody because it's been such a big wedge. I think it's a cultural shift that's happening. And I can't speak on exactly where I think it'll be, but I don't think that we're going to go backwards to that. And if we do, I think it's going to take a little bit of time to get back to that. There's always going to be the fucking drunk chick who wants to hear Cardi B, whatever. But I feel like there's a level of, it's not, I don't think it's, it'll be, not required is not the right word, but I don't think it's expected. I don't think it's expected now. You can get away with being like, nah, I don't fuck with that.
Right.
And play something that's somewhat comparable and gives them sort of scratches their itch, but isn't playing directly to the crowd, where it's like get a little bit more of the knowledge of one for them, two for me, one for them, three for me, one maybe two for them, but three for me. Like
I think
that.
they're more down for the journey now. Like
I think
being storytellers, like
there's a little bit
think
more
so.
vulnerability
So.
from the audience. I think it's going to come out of it for sure. Yeah.
Can I play devil's advocate?
But I feel like you also have to make sure that you set that, because they'll rock with it. But
Right.
like anything, if you bend a little bit, then
It's over.
you've caved and it's over. So you have to kind of stand your ground. I think you can stand your ground a little bit more with conviction now than you would, in January.
Especially anybody who's developing rapport, like streaming right now. They're setting that expectation now. So anybody who's calling you up is probably calling you up from watching you on Twitch for the last few months, and so they know what to expect at this point. That's what I think, anyways.
Again, this is just sort of my perception, but I'm a little skewed because I worked through those years, and I've gotten to a point where if someone's
you
booking
can
me,
do you regardless. Yeah,
they're not. Yeah, they're like, they're more like, why aren't you playing Rush right now? Like that's
Right.
the request that I would get.
I feel that. I want to touch on something real quick. Here's something from the perspective of local DJ, small town promoter, that I think is a super awesome thing that could come out of this streaming situation. And being in Sacramento and being a drum and bass promoter, we've had varied levels of success. And I'll admit it, we've had more success in other times than we have in maybe the last 5 years. Okay. And it has gotten to the point where the 916 Junglist promotions couldn't sustain a weekly. There's no way that we could afford to be there on a weekly basis playing drum and bass for the 40-year-old dudes that want to show up every week. As much as I love them, it's not going to keep the bar open. They're not going to want to keep bringing me back on that weekly basis. And I feel like this platform is going to provide that good weekly reoccurring scheduled event that can build a local scene to the point where you can start throwing a party once a month. You can start throwing a party once every couple of months in real life, and you've had that weekly community building that's super necessary to build a scene without all of the loss from, you know, bar owner Bob harping on you for not meeting your bar minimum in alcohol sales and things like that. And I think that's a really positive thing for this platform. And like you said, the medium has been around, but it took this set of circumstances to push it into mainstream culture and make it more acceptable to everybody. I'm excited for that coming out of this. Personally,
Billy, like, I think I'm going to speak for everybody, even though a lot of people are afraid to speak up on this because, you know, bookings. Anybody in this industry who's been in this industry for more than 20 years at this point saw the rise of bottle service and bottle service clubs and and social media for that matter, like Instagram, Snapchat, all that shit. And we saw dance floors suffer for it. Like, it went from dance floors being electric and amazing to bottle service people trying to flex on how much they can spend and how many hot girls they can have and how they can look like they're having a good time to people on Instagram or Snapchat that aren't even there.
Everyone with their selfie cams on the dance floor, right?
Exactly. And I think we've all somewhat begrudgingly made money in this industry, and a lot of people have made money due to bottle service and things like that.
Sure.
But the soul of a lot of DJs kept getting siphoned. We let, like, I mean, especially the regular open format club DJs, like anybody who has a name. I mean, like when Z Trip is booked, people expect Z Trip, but like for a lot of us who don't have like huge names and we get booked in these bigger clubs, they expect you to play that bottle service club set.
Sure.
And a lot of us, like, we'll do it, we'll get the paycheck, but then we never really had that outlet that Twitch has given us to connect with our audience, the people that really fuck with what we want to play. And personally, I'm really hoping after this, when we go back out there, like, I mean, I feel that party funk. I'm hoping that, like, the Philly scene's weird. Like, anybody who's been to Philadelphia, it's a lot of bottle service shit, and it's very hip hop. It's very urban in Philly. And when you try to like do like the whole funk, disco house, disco thing, it's, you know, it can fall flat. But I think after what we're all doing right now, connecting with people on Twitch around the world, I'm hoping that it gets better. Like, we kind of reset a little bit from the bottle service days and can really have community and dance floors and people having a really good time on dance floors.
Yeah, I think, you know, DJs became the background, right? They used to be the focus, and then they were just, you know, basically a CD player, you know, like nobody paid attention. But now that people have seen DJs on Twitch, you know, they're really close to them. Like, the camera angle's right there. Like, it reminds me of, like, you know, at a party, like back in the day, it would be like a banquet table, right? Like right there on the floor, and everybody's right there. You know what I mean? Right. Like that sort of direct connection, and you can actually see what they're doing. And I think, you know, crowds are going to demand that, you know, because they've been seeing that that's, you know, possible. They can see a DJ like that.
A lot of it started, like, if you were DJing in the late 90s or earlier into the early 2000s, before, again, the bottle service festival thing happened, like, if you went to a club, the DJ was not front and center. The DJ was in a booth that was tucked away in the corner. It was dark, and nobody fucked with them. They came to the club to listen to dope music, and nobody really fucked with the DJ. But now everything's
comes from disco. Disco was like that. A lot of disco DJs with the Bozak mixers and shit from back in the day. They were literally in a booth. They were in a room with a fucking window, and they looked like they were at WKRP in Cincinnati with the fucking shit going down. And
like
it was
a roller rink.
Yeah, it was a booth. You know what I mean? That's straight up out of disco.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah.
And that was also like, you could also tell who the other DJs were because they'd go find the booth. But, I mean,
Yeah.
so many
Right.
DJs, I didn't even know what they looked like.
My girlfriend would joke like, "You're gonna go to the booth. I'll go to the bathroom. I'll meet you at the bar." Sounds like standard practice when you walk through the door. You go that way. You go that way.
Yeah, same.
I want to play
I
devil
think- I
advocate
think-
for a second. Go ahead, Zeke.
Let's hear it.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I just really quick. I think what this has done is it's just allowed us. It's put a little more power back into the DJ's hands, really, ultimately, and it's given the DJ a bit more of a voice, and you have the ability to sort of say something or not, or play along or not. I think now because we're all starting back at the starting line when this
Right.
sort of happens. It's not like we're gonna all of a sudden the lights come back on and everything's back to where it was. So I think it just allows you as a DJ to look, if you're only paying me $50 anyway, fuck it. You're getting what the fuck I want. You know what I
Right.
mean? Unless you're gonna pay me more. You pay me more, then I'll fucking do the dance. But like, there's a level of like the patron, I think, just wants to fucking dance. They've been cooped up for 7 months, you know. The bartender or the bar owner just wants people in the fucking room drinking.
Butts and seats.
And if you're providing those elements, no matter if you're playing fucking cumbia or you're playing country music, doesn't fucking matter. As long as that's happening,
Right.
then you're gonna have a little bit more leadway to sort of carve your own niche. And you know, who's to say you can't just take a Tuesday and be like, yo, this is my fucking night of my sound, and I'm gonna fill this in with people who care to be here for this and cultivate it, and that becomes the new norm. And the bottle service things becomes the throwback, sort of like, remember when we used to do bottle service? Yeah, we're doing like mock bottle service Wednesdays where like, you know, we all pop bottles, but they're all $1, you know, whatever. Some, you know, some
I think there's going to be. I think there's a good point that there's going to be promotion directors that are doing calendars for event locations that will be influenced by what we're all doing here, and
Hopefully.
they'll absolutely already know what they're getting when they're going into it at this point.
what was that? What was the devil's advocate though? I'm curious.
Oh,
what you're-
Yeah, absolutely.
I so want what we're all talking about so bad. I've waited 20 years to just be able to go in and be like, I know what I'm doing. Sit the fuck down, have fun. I'm just waiting for it. And it feels like maybe this might be it. But at the same time, I have kids that are a little bit older. I'm on TikTok. I don't really actively work around TikTok, but I'm on it. I browse it a lot. I browse it with my kids and stuff. The world we have here in Twitch is amazing. I love it. I wouldn't trade it for the world. But the kids that are on that are on TikTok want nothing to do with what we're doing here. They're still on that horrible music. Look at me, camera. This is all about me. This is all about me, the girls and guys. And as someone who one of my residencies for the past 5 years, 4 nights a week, it's BC College, BU, Suffolk University. So it's 21 to 25-year-olds, and they're not going to change. So I think it's really relative to the idea that, like you said, like if we get rooms where we get to do a little bit of what we want, or we're featured, like the flyer is like, hey, here's so-and-so, here's their Twitch, they've been killing it, come see what they do, and people come see you, like kind of like what Aiden was leading towards. Awesome. But for those of us that are like the working guns, the guys in the trenches trying to satisfy the crowd, they're not on a flyer, they're just making their $400 a night. There's going to be a honeymoon period where people are just psyched to be out. But once that fizzles, I feel like because of where music is still kind of mainstream music, it's going to be like that 55 to 65 BPM. I don't even call it hip hop, rap, which some of it I genuinely enjoy, but it's just like that same thing. The dance floor looks like this the whole time. And, you know, I'm just like, dude, like put down the phone and have fun. But on a good note, on a good story here, I actually got hit up today through a partner who wants to pay us a regular DJ rate to put our Twitch feed on their TVs in their bar, like starting next week.
Nice.
So it's kind of like,
fuck yeah.
I'm like, you're gonna give us money? Well, you could sub to us, I guess, buy a tier 3 sub, and they're like, no, we want to pay you. We're like, oh, do we have to change our scene and put your logo? No. Like they don't get it. They don't get how it works. I'm like, you can just go on and put it on your TVs. Nobody gonna say anything. And he's like, no, I want to put table tents around so people can log into the chat because they can't get up and walk around. They can't, because that's the rules up here in the Northeast. New Hampshire is kind of like Florida, anything goes. But like Vermont and Maine and Massachusetts, it's sit down, and you can't get up unless you go into the bathroom, and you can't sit at a table unless you're ordering actual food. Because people are doing I'll buy a bag of chips and an order of fries and sit here for 4 hours and get shit faced. So they kind of put the kibosh on that by being like, you have to order an entree. But he's like, I got this room full of people, and it's just like a dinner hall. And he's like, I want them entertaining. I want them to do stuff. So we kind of like bounce some ideas back and forth. We're like, we'll talk to your people. We'll talk to your crowd. You know, like if they can hear us, we'll talk to them and we'll get them talking back. And hell, if you want to throw money at us, by all means.
So
we're doing
that's
it
what I was
anyways.
thinking.
That's
It's
great, man.
like people are getting used to this experience, right? But everybody's going to go back. But like, what does that hybrid look like, right?
Yeah,
we don't know. How
does Twitch
it's
come
exciting.
to the real world? You know what I mean? Instead of like, watching a rave on YouTube live or whatever, like what's that interactive element look like? It's going to be interesting.
A couple of things I wanted to touch on Josh's comment real quick. First thing in regards to TikTok and the younger generation, to counterpoint, Fleetwood Mac is back on the pop charts this year because of that Ocean Spray TikTok.
Yes.
That's a red herring, though. I love it, and I'm all for cranberry juice. Don't get me wrong, but
ready to go down there.
Now it's a topical thing when things go viral, and the song isn't necessarily a new song, and I've seen it happen with high school generation, because it's weird the way that the kids that are in high school now. First of all, a lot of my event production space was not in drum and bass. I did a lot of campaign events, did a lot of corporate events with like Budweiser, blah, blah, blah. And I've done a lot of high school events. Okay. And I follow the idea, or I follow what these kids are into and their perception on music. And one thing that is worth understanding as us 40, whatever, something-year-old men in this fucking room right now, is that the way that these kids consume music is not the way that we consume music. And unless they're a super music nerd, they don't give a shit about the origin story or chasing the roots of a genre or like finding a amen break or finding like anything that involved like the music nerd shit that we went into back in the day. They find, and it takes they still can, and they still absolutely have more resources than we did, but today, the way that they consume music is if something is trending, they're gonna fucking jump all over it no matter what year the song came out. Break My Stride, a couple earlier this or towards the end of last year, you could start playing Break My Stride to teenagers and they'd fucking love it because it was all over TikTok.
Take on Me too.
Yeah, Take on Me.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, Eileen was another one.
Right. So you get the thing is that my point is that and they'll straight up their request lists straight up will say Travis Scott, and then it'll be Come On Eileen, and then it'll be like some Huey Lewis in the News, and then it'll go back to whatever's hot right now, Cardi B or whatever. And so and their list reflects the not giving a fuckness. Like, yes, every generation has their own music, and they're going to identify with it. And yes, every older generation is going to think it's garbage. My dad heard hip hop and said, this sounds like James Brown on loop. It's fucking garbage. And like, it's just like, it's older generations are always going to identify with what they identify with in the new music. And then they're going to stick to their guns and the shit that they grew up with because that's what they're comfortable with. And the newer generation is having a new weird perspective on it where time doesn't fucking matter anymore. As long as the song is cool, they're fucking down. And honestly, like that really, really excites me. And it's a product of stream culture. It's a product of these kids having a phone in their hands their entire lives, never having to go to a record store, like all of, you know what I mean? Like it's all a different way of consuming music, and it's a reflection of that in their social behavior. Go ahead, sorry.
We should get our own influence.
Agree 100%. I'd say embrace it and look for the positives. As mad as it is, as mad as people are like giving themselves selfies, like people need their likes, people need to hook up. Get over it.
Yep.
We ain't 18 no more, but if we were, we'd be doing the same. It's cool.
Yep.
No fucking problem. To Billy's point, agree with you 100%, bro.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. I think
initially, right, everyone's going to come out and they're going to be like, let's party, let's get super lit. And then they're going to be like, let's have mega lit month-long music festival. And then the music artists are going to start making super duper mega lit 2021 music. And then eventually things will calm back down and maybe we'll find that good balance where we can get more quality
substance
in our
overhype.
Yeah. But initially,
what's interesting about Twitch and like the youth audience and versus TikTok, like I don't know about you as far as your metrics, what you're seeing, but the age of my audience is a lot older than I ever would have expected. You know, so like I'm curious to like, is Twitch already going down the pathway of Facebook, where like I got off Facebook once my grandma got on it. I was like done.
No, I think your audience is just reflective of your audience. Every individual is going to have a different audience. They're going to skew to a different crowd. If you were 20 years younger, your audience would probably skew 20 years younger.
What are you saying?
Yeah, come on now. Hey, hang on a minute here. Wait.
With the exception of somebody like Z-Trip, who's obviously built an international phenom and recently just broke into the Insomniac chat room. By the way, there was some funny comments of these kids discovering who Z-Trip was. Shit like, man, my dad is fucking killing it on the decks right now. And like shit like yeah, we're getting close to wrap time because I got to take a leak myself and I got to eat. So before we go and raid out, is there anything anybody in the Zoom room wants to bring up for Z? Tell a story or anything like that. Speak your piece now.
I got a quick question.
I got one real quick. Z, thank you for like setting me on this path that I kind of went down, because it was like that video scratch where you're talking about the BPM all the way around the room. It set me onto like a crazy manicness where I BPM'd and keyed all my vinyl and then made it match my Serato and vice versa. So thank you.
Yeah, man. I think that's dope. I appreciate that. That's awesome. I love that.
I'll just keep it short. Z, thank you. Billy, thank you for the opportunity. Both y'all, man. Respect.
Yes.
Big time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Z, I'll say really quickly, good to meet you.
Oh, go ahead.
And I say really quickly, good to meet you. I didn't really know. I'm from London, so I got my head stuck up my ass. Don't hold it against me. But if you're looking for dub plates, man, just through Billy, man, we'll hook you up, man. Hook you up with some.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm just always looking for just, you know, I'm on a couple mailing lists here and there of some stuff, and I get some things, but like, you know, you always know the real dope shit is coming from like a very small group of people. It always has been, right? And so I'm just not tapped in to them direct, and so it's like I always get like, I get it a couple weeks late. So if I could be on that right there moment, that would be the shit. So I appreciate it. However I get there, or if I don't, that's cool too. But you know, whatever, I'll take it. But big up, man. I appreciate it.
I will say,
did you ever have a copy of your EDC? Did you have a copy of the EDC Raveathon? There's a lot of people in chat that were asking about it, and a lot of people that witnessed it. And I mean, is that something that you're ever going to put up for upload or for sale or anything like that?
You know, I probably would put it up now. I was kind of giving Insomniac a you know, the run on it. Of
course.
But I've also, you know, it's been what, over 6 months now, I think. Yeah. So I feel like it might be time to sort of put it back up. Because I just also want to archive it sonically, because to me it's just a really
always a powerful show.
Yeah, I think I hit everything I want. Like I wanted to portray who I was, and you know, I wanted to make sure people thought that their dad was in the chat killing it. That's so awesome. That's my favorite shit. That's gonna be my biggest takeaway. Dad was
crushing it. And did you ask or did anybody ask what your favorite break was? Do you have like a favorite break? Like favorite drum and bass or jungle break, obviously, but
and
favorite
why is it Apache?
Why is it Apache? That's really it. It's the bongos. It's the fucking bongos.
Okay. The incredible bongos.
Yeah, the incredible bongos. Yeah, man. Yeah, that would have to be it. That or Funky Drummer. One of the two.
Okay. Yeah.
I was gonna say, the last time you were at Zach, you were talking to me about doing a drum and bass party. On Saturday nights, Billy does a drum and bass party with about 100 just hardcore jungle heads that are in there. Fucking want to throw a jungle set.
Yeah.
You need to show up, man.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well,
Yes.
it's funny. Like right out the gate, I feel like I came out swinging. I did a SD Union drum and bass thing. I did a drum and bass set on my stream, and just was like, I was so itching to play that music. And I also felt like, you know, it's funny too, because here's the catch-22 to my world is like, I have a fan base, I feel, of people who know that when they come to see me, they don't really have an expectation of like, you're going to get one thing, or that you're going to get a little,
Of course.
who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, of course.
But there's also a level of, sometimes I run into the situation where if I go too far, they're like, well, wait a second, you didn't do that, the fucking Bombs Over Baghdad Tool mashup thing. You're like, wait a second, that's a thing now? So I ran into the situation where sometimes pushing a little too much of one thing might throw off even my algorithm, if you will. So drum and bass, sometimes I'll go down these tangents, but I'll know that like I can't stay here too long because I really need to hit that other thing. But when I was able to sort of do these drum and bass sets on the channel on Twitch, it was like super therapeutic. Same thing with house set, I did a chill set, but like I'll definitely come and check it, man. And I feel like there's probably another drum and bass set like brewing in me again, because I've gotten all this really great stuff since the last time I did it. So I'll probably,
I know what you mean. I imagine people tune in and we're like, "This is Z-Trip." Like, what?
Yeah. But I love that too.
Totally.
I'm
Yeah,
a big fan of,
absolutely.
like, here you go, man. Dive in. You'll find something you like. So
for sure.
Whatever. But
so one thing I wanted to leave us on, and this is setting aside metrics, DJ talk, career talk, setting all that aside. One thing that is consistent, and I've said this before, one thing that is consistent is that real friendships are forged when we all go through something really hard and come out of it on the other side. And so this is real talk right now. So I want to thank all of you, Z-Trip, everybody in here. What we got? Z-Trip, Catch-22, Joshua Carl, The Librarian, Chris Hopkins, Gypsy Kid, Darth Vader, E-Rock, Man Like Deep, Aiden Scott, Entity, Ratfink, everybody in the chat, Binary Fission. I want to thank all of y'all for riding hard. Mistake 916, Low Key Drums, because if we keep pushing through this, we're all going to come out of this, if anything, really good friends, because we had this moment together. So big up to all of you. That's all I wanted to say. Cheers, y'all.
Big ups.
Thank you, Billy.
Yeah.
Everybody in here,
Billy, very good.
Everybody in here, honorary 916 junglist.
Straight up, you all got your merit badge.
Yeah,
that's what's up. That's what's up.
I think everybody needs it to like run it up in the chat for Billy for like putting this whole thing together. Everybody in the Zoom room too, but like everybody in the Twitch chat, like
throw some Z's for Z-Trip as well. Throw some Z's in there as well. Get some Z's running.
Thank you, Z, for spending some time with
Of course, man. Thank you for having me.
It was a lot of fun.
I'm honored to be here. It means a lot that you guys were down to have me come in and pop in. So I appreciate it. Thank you guys.
Thank you, man.
Thank you so
We're
much.
gonna raid into my homie DJ Epic. I was the other DJ at Motown on Mondays. This is the person who actually DJs at Motown on Mondays. So
awkward.
This is
the real DJ.
This is the homie. So let's figure out. We gotta send something to Epic. Those that don't know the tradition here. Let me get it up on my screen real quick.
They don't fuck up Z-Trip's watching.
Let's do okay. Okay, let's do it. Okay.
Is it?
So what we do is we write the love letter going into the raid, and I hope that he reads it on stream. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna have everybody copy and paste the love letter when we raid into the next stream. Okay. So I need some folks to contribute. So dear Epic, let's see here.
Don't fuck up.
Don't fuck up.
Don't fuck it. Don't blow this.
Don't blow this. Z-Trip is watching.
Oh, that's great.
Okay. Let's see.
And a bunch of other DJs standing there with their arms folded.
And a bunch of silently judging DJs.
He's watching.
We all gave you props. You better show up.
Tell them also that we're only watching for 2 mixes. So if it's good, we'll stick around. If you
Jaded
you have 2 mixes to get it right. If you don't Get it right. We're all
We're
out.
all
We're
bailing.
leaving.
Yeah.
And we're all doing.
And
we're taking a chat with
we're
them.
taking some of your followers with us.
There you go.
You have
Oh shit!
What's so
two
funny is that's a
mixes.
joke, but we all like kind of adhere
So
to
real.
that.
There's so much truth in
That
that.
way.
You have two mixes to get it right, or we're all bouncing.
And
we're-
writing bad reviews on social media.
One
Worst
star.
streamer ever, 0 stars.
Oh shit!
would not recommend. All right.
Yes, man.
All right. So
Once we're gonna get there, he's
let's-
gonna be on a bathroom break or something.
Let's summarize. So, dear Epic, don't blow this. Z-Trip is watching along with a bunch of jaded DJs who need you to prove it now. You have two mixes to get it right, or we're all bouncing and we're all bouncing and we're taking your followers with us. Okay.
Oh, that's so fucking hard. That's coming in blazing. That's coming in guns.
Hey, that's no sweat
we
for
love
him.
him.
This is
Oh,
real
man.
love, y'all. This is real love.
Don't blow it.
It is.
Don't blow it.
All right. So everybody copy and paste that right now. Copy and paste that. Get ready
Got
to
it.
raid. All right.
Can we call him the other DJ?
Do
The
whatever
other-
you want. All right. So let's get ready. Okay. Let me get this up on the screen here.
Gotta
Way to
wait
warm it
for
up.
the raid.
All right.
Ready.
Control V works, guys. Control V works.
Just making
Okay,
sure.
we're in the countdown. We're coming in hot with a fat raid for Epic. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Z-Trip. I really appreciate your
Of course,
time.
man.
Thank
You
you,
went an
thank you, thank
hour
you, man.
over
Very
for this,
much.
man.
Guys,
Thank you
hell
so
yeah.
much. We're raiding out.
Oh,
Make
yeah.
sure you paste that in. Let's go.